Before we start, I want you to think about something. Your retirement account, your 401k, the savings you've been building for decades. Now imagine waking up one morning and finding out it's all gone. Not because the market crashed, not because you made a bad investment, but because the man you trusted with everything was lying to you from the very first day. For over 50 years, Bernard Madoff was considered the most trusted man on Wall Street. Billionaires gave him their fortunes. Pension funds gave him their retirees' life savings. They all believed the same thing, that their money was safe. Every single one of them was wrong. $65 billion stolen. The largest financial fraud in the history of the United States. In the history of the entire world. Bernard Lawrence Madoff was born in Queens, New York in 1938. He wasn't born into old money. He didn't grow up in Manhattan penthouses or prep schools. He grew up in a working-class Jewish neighborhood in Queens. The kind of kid who mowed lawns and lifeguarded at the beach to save every dollar he could. At just 22 years old, Bernie Madoff founded his own investment firm with $5,000. $5,000 that he earned with his own hands. He embraced technology when everyone else ignored it. He helped build the electronic trading systems that would eventually become the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. He wasn't just on Wall Street. He was reshaping it. By the 1980s, he was one of the most respected figures in American finance. He became chairman of Nasdaq itself. Presidents of major banks called him for advice. He was living proof that in America, anyone could make it. And that reputation, that all-American success story, was the most dangerous weapon he ever had. Deep inside his Manhattan office building, on the 17th floor, there was a department that almost nobody in the firm knew existed. No clients visited it. Most employees had never been inside. It had its own separate computer system, its own staff, its own paper trail. This is where Bernie Madoff ran the largest Ponzi scheme in the history of the world. He never actually invested his clients' money. Not a single dollar. He deposited it all into one J.P. Morgan Chase bank account. When clients wanted their returns, he paid them using money from new investors coming in. No stocks, no trades, no investments. Just money moving in circles. Every single month for decades, his clients received beautifully printed statements showing steady, reliable returns, 10 to 12% every year, while the rest of the market crashed and burned around them. The dot-com crash of 2000, September 11th, the 2008 financial crisis. While millions of Americans watched their retirement accounts get cut in half, Madoff's clients saw nothing but steady green numbers. That was the red flag that nobody saw. His name was Harry Markopolos, a financial analyst from Boston. Not a celebrity, not a senator, just a man with a spreadsheet and a conscience. In 1999, 9 years before the collapse, Markopolos sat down and analyzed Madoff's publicly available returns. Within 4 hours, he had his answer. The numbers were impossible, not unlikely, not suspicious. Mathematically impossible. No legitimate investment strategy in the history of American finance had ever produced returns this consistent. So Harry Markopolos did what any responsible American citizen would do. He went to the authorities. He walked into the Boston office of the Securities and Exchange Commission, the federal agency whose entire purpose is to protect American investors, and he handed them his evidence. They did nothing. He went back. More evidence. more documentation, more mathematical proof. They did nothing. And the SEC, funded by your tax dollars, staffed by federal employees whose job was to protect you, looked the other way every single time. 37,000 people paid the price for that failure. By the fall of 2008, America was in financial freefall. For the first time, Madoff's wealthy clients needed their money back. In the space of just a few weeks, Bernie Madoff received $7 billion in withdrawal requests. He had $234 million in the bank. On the evening of December 9, 2008, Bernie Madoff called his two sons, Mark and Andrew, into the living room of his Manhattan penthouse apartment on the Upper East Side. He sat down across from them, and after 50 years of lying to everyone in his life, his clients, his employees, his regulators, his friends, he finally told the truth. He said it's all just one big lie. Then they picked up the phone and called a lawyer. The next morning, 2 FBI agents knocked on the door of that same penthouse. Bernie Madoff answered in his bathrobe. He looked at them. He said, "I know why you're here." He didn't run. He didn't deny it. He didn't call a lawyer. He just stepped aside and let them in. Think about the retirees who had done everything right, who had worked 30, 40 years, who had maxed out their 401k contributions every single year. Men and women in their late 60s and 70s, who had to go back to work, not because they wanted to, because they had no choice. Standing in grocery store checkout lines, with name tags on their chests, ringing up groceries for people half their age, because the money they had saved their entire lives had been feeding Bernie Madoff's bank account. And think about Mark Madoff, Bernie's own son, the man who had picked up the phone and turned his father in, who had tried to do the right thing, who spent the rest of his short life trying to convince the world he hadn't known, who couldn't escape his father's name no matter where he went. On December 11, 2010, exactly 2 years after his father's arrest, Mark Madoff took his own life. He was 46 years old. His 2 children lost their grandfather to prison and their father to grief. That is what $65 billion of theft actually looks like. June 29, 2009. Federal District Court, Manhattan, New York. The courtroom was packed. Victims had flown in from across the country. Television cameras lined the walls. The whole of America was watching. One by one, victims stood and faced the man who had taken everything from them. They talked about the retirement accounts that no longer existed. Bernie Madoff stood and listened. Then Judge Chin spoke. He said here, the breach of trust was massive. 50 years of lies. 50 years of Ponzi scheme. $171 billion flowed in and out of that account. He said, "I am not a mathematician, but the math here is not difficult." 150 years. The gavel fell, and in the gallery, some people cried. Some people clapped. Bernie Madoff died in the Butner Federal Correctional Complex in North Carolina on April 14, 2021. He was 82 years old. He died in a prison hospital bed, surrounded not by the penthouses and yachts and power lunches of his former life, but by 4 walls and the weight of what he had done. His Manhattan penthouse was auctioned off. His Palm Beach mansion sold. His 188-foot yacht named the Bull seized and liquidated. Bernie Madoff understood something about America that most of us don't want to admit, that we want to believe in the self-made man. He didn't just steal money. He stole the thing that makes financial systems work at all. He stole trust. And in a country built on the promise that hard work and smart saving will protect you, that may be the most American crime ever committed. $65 billion, 50 years, 37,000 victims. And it only ended because two sons made a phone call. The officials who ignored Harry Markopolos' warnings face criminal charges for what happened to those 37,000 people? Drop your answer in the comments. Subscribe if you believe these stories deserve to be told. And if someone you know has ever been the victim of financial fraud, share this video with them. Because the first step to protecting yourself is understanding exactly how it happens.